All right, so thank you all for tuning in to WGHC 98.3 FM, your voice, your music, your station. My name is Jeff Badu, and I'm a licensed certified public accountant in the state of Illinois. I'm the owner and practitioner of my firm, Badu Tax Services, and we specialize in tax preparation, tax planning, and tax representation for individuals and businesses. So today I'll be doing a book review. I actually came out with a new book. It's called The Legendary Asset: The 6 Reasons Why You Should Own Real Estate. It's really a book that's near and dear to my heart. It's my very first book. It's pretty short, about 20 pages, 21 pages or so. Just talking about real estate and really why I love it so much, why I got involved in it, why you should own it, and why you should make it a part of your wealth building portfolio. And so another thing to watch out for that my producer, Mr. NK, mentioned is that, it is tax season, and there are a lot of scams that go on during tax season, unfortunately. I know we just had the recent Equifax data breach. So if somebody calls you saying that they're the IRS, please do not listen or immediately hang up, because the IRS will actually never call you, or they should. They never call anybody, period. So if anybody calls you asking or telling you that they're the IRS, asking you for some money, please hang up immediately, because the IRS does not call people. They will first mail you a letter, and then they will request a response from you, and you will know basically if it's from the IRS or not, because it will be in an official IRS notice. And, of course, if you have any questions, if you want my help, I'll be more than happy to help out with the letters and things like that. But before we get into the presentation, I would like to kick it off with the first market report of 2018. So this report is as of January 19, 2018. So corporate earnings season entered its second week with generally favorable results, which likely drove equities last week, so corporate earnings were higher. Each of the benchmark indexes listed posted weekly gains, led by the Dow and NASDAQ, which continues to post strong early year gains in the technology sector. Apparently the threat and the eventual occurrence of a federal government shutdown, which we did have this past weekend, didn't curb investor enthusiasm. On the other hand, the government shutdown probably did impact long-term bond prices, as the yield on 10-year treasuries climbed 11 basis points. As prices fall, yields rise, while the U.S. dollar also dropped. The price of crude oil went down from $64.40 per barrel to $63.57, and the price of COMEX gold went down as well from $13.38.30 to $13.31.10. So overall, the market has been red hot. I mean, blazing hot this year. So far, as of January 19, 2018, the Dow Jones is up almost 6%. NASDAQ is up 6.27%. S&P 500 is up 5%. Russell 2000, 4%. Global Dow, 5.51%. So across the board, I mean, we're doing amazing. We're smoking hot right now. So if you haven't invested, if you don't own stocks, if you're not in a wealth building game, I would highly suggest that you get involved as soon as possible. So into today's topic is really to go over the book that I wrote, and it's actually getting released tomorrow. The book will actually be printed. It's in the process of getting printed right now, and it will be distributed sometime next week. So I'll be doing a book review, and I'll be doing let's just say this is the audio version of the book. Now, of course, it's not the full book, but I'll just be touching upon some points because I believe everybody needs to hear this. I believe this is very important information. So, The Legendary Asset: 6 Reasons Why You Should Own Real Estate. I wrote this book mainly because I wanted people to make real estate a part of their investment portfolio, because it is very important to have it. It's one of those things that you just have to have, because real estate will always be here. It's something you can touch, you can hold, you can feel, you can grab. It's always going to be here. No matter how many robots come to the planet, real estate will always be here. So, and my firm, I'm specializing more so in real estate taxation. So it's also a branding thing for me. It's more of a brand awareness as well, in order to build my brand as a real estate CPA as well. So it knocks out two birds with one stone. One is continuously embracing or achieving my goal of making people financially literate. And then the other one is to enhance my brand as the real estate CPA. So anytime I go to an event, I can hand somebody a book saying, hey, I wrote this book on real estate. I'm a CPA that does taxes for real estate investors. You know, that sparks up the conversation. I think that's a big eye opener. So let's get right into it. So 9 out of 10 millionaires got there through real estate. So all the millionaires that you see out there, if you were to pick out 9 of them, so if in the room of 10, if you were to pick out 9, they probably got there through real estate, meaning they attained the millionaire status by acquiring a piece of property or multiple pieces of properties. So real estate provides some major major benefits that other asset classes simply cannot offer. Although it can have some ups and downs, everyone, and I mean everyone, it doesn't matter who you are, you need to have real estate in your portfolio in some way, shape, or form. So the first benefit, and I'll be talking about 6 benefits. I'm really going to get really locked and loaded, dive deep, really deep into this presentation because it's very important to me. Imagine me having let's say I'm giving a study, or imagine me making a case for real estate. So this presentation, by the end of me presenting, and also by the end of you reading my book, you should be ready, or you should want to go out and buy your first piece of property, or maybe your second one or your third one. So this is more so of an inspirational book that really encourages you on the 6 different reasons why you should own real estate. So the first reason why you should own real estate is cash flow. So I believe cash flow is king. They say cash is king, but I think cash flow is king. It is absolute king. Now, with cash flow, remember, cash flow is money that is coming into your pocket each and every month without you having to work for it. So cash flow is the opportunity to build long-term wealth and increase your net worth, essentially. So let's say, for example, you own a piece of property and it's bringing you $500 net. So after you've taken away your mortgage, interest, taxes, all your expenses, your cash flowing, $500 a month. Well, this is $500 a month that you would not have had you not owned this property. Now imagine if you own 10 of these properties and you didn't have to do anything in order to get that $500 a month. That's money that's coming into your pocket each and every month without you having to do anything, really. All you had to do was you had to put the deal together. You had to go out and buy the property. You maybe needed the credit or knew somebody who had the credit. As a matter of fact, I'm buying a 3-unit building tomorrow. I'm actually going to a closing tomorrow where I'm closing on a 3-unit building. That's a long-term buy and hold rental property that I acquired with a partner who, he needed some help with the down payment. He had the credit, so we merged together, and ultimately we went ahead and purchased this property. So one thing about real estate, and I didn't mention in the book, but one thing about real estate, or I mentioned it a little bit, but not too in depth, is that you should be acquiring real estate with partners, with people who share the same common vision, because we're dealing with big, giant properties. I don't know too many people that have enough money to go out and buy a big, large piece of property. So it's best done with partners. It's best done with a team. You always need a team, a strategic mindset, you need a team around you in order to build the long-term wealth that you truly deserve. So keep in mind, that's $500 a month. Let's go back to that example. It's money that you did not have to work for. It's money you wouldn't have had you not bought this property. This is money you don't have to work for, and that's what they call passive income. It's passive income because it's money you do not have to work for. You don't have to do anything. I mean, you might have to do just one thing, maybe check your bank account to see if the money got there. for the most part, you don't really have to do much when it comes to passive. My definition of passive income is that if you can't manage it from your bedroom, it's not passive. So that's my true definition of passive income. So this is what I mean when I say you don't really have to do anything in order to buy this property or in order to get this long-term consistent passive or residual income. So this allows you the opportunity to build massive passive income. So once you start building passive income, we now take it to the next level, which is massive passive income. That's when you go out and you buy your second property, your third property, your fourth. Next thing you know, you own 100 or 200 of these. I mean, can you imagine 200 people sending you $500 checks each and every month? You will not have to work another day in your life. You will not have to rely on the government for your retirement. You will not have to rely on anybody to supply your daily needs. You can live luxuriously. You can live, the abundant lifestyle that you truly deserve. I believe that we all can be living in abundance, but we need passive income. And to take it to the next level, we need massive passive income. We can't just sweat. We can't just be working. We can't just, we can't be the one that's putting in all the effort. We need, at some point, our body is going to be less energized. It's going to, there's certain things that are going to happen to you. So if you don't have to work, well, guess what? You don't really have a problem. So that's my first point, and that's the first thing of the book. It's cash flow. Remember, cash flow is king. Cash is king, but cash flow is really king. So that's the first reason why I believe that everyone should own real estate in their portfolio. The second reason is mortgage pay down by your tenants. And I really like this concept. So let's say you have a tenant and they pay you rent. Let's say your mortgage is $1,000 a month and you own a 4-flat building, a 4-unit building, a building with 4 units in it. And let's say you live in a unit, you live in the first floor, or you live in the top floor. That's what people usually do. They like to watch over their tenants. So you live on the 4th floor, and let's say you have 3 other tenants below you. Now let's say, assuming they're paying rent on time. So they're paying you $3,000 a month. And your mortgage, let's just say, is $1,500 a month, hypothetically, which is very well possible. Well, guess what? That $3,000 that you're collecting, and let's even add including yours. You would have been paying $1,000. Let's add an opportunity cost in there. You would have been paying $1,000, but now you're living for free. So really, you're collecting $4,000. Because technically you're not collecting rent from yourself, but in essence or essentially you are paying rent. It's just that you wouldn't be writing yourself a check. So really you're getting $4,000 a month for a $1,500 mortgage. Now, you don't have to be the smartest person in the world to figure that this is positive cash flow. This is income, money coming into your pocket. And by the way, this is $4,000 gross. So if you take away the mortgage and all of that, let's just say you're cash flowing $2,000 a month. Can you imagine? I know some people that can quit their full-time jobs off of $2,000 a month, and your living expenses are paid for by your tenants. $2,000 a month, money to pay your let's say your phone bill, your any other thing that's out there, and that's just with one property, by the way. And you can get this property with as little as 3.5% down. As a matter of fact, right before this presentation, I did an FHA loan webinar with a few experts. And so it is a very powerful FHA loan, the Federal Housing Authority loan. It's a very powerful loan. You get, you can get a big property, let's say a 4-unit building with 3.5% down. And guess what? The government can even subsidize that for you to be only paying 0.5% down. Can you imagine buying a property with just $1,000 down? It is very possible. So that's my thing, is that your tenants would be paying your mortgage. So as they're paying your mortgage, guess what happens? You're building equity into the property. So your mortgage is going down and your equity is going up in the property. That's building your net worth. Now you have an asset that is growing without you ever having to do anything to it, really. And let's say you have a property manager that's on board. They're taking care of your property for you. So in reality, you're not really having to do much to this property. You're just sitting, or maybe you're at your full-time job and you're getting cash flow. Your mortgage is getting paid down by your tenants. Later on, what you can do is you can get a line of credit and buy another home. This is what some people do. You can refinance the loan, pull out the equity, go buy another house, do whatever it is that you want with the money. Don't overspend it, please. And this money is tax-free, by the way. You don't have to pay taxes when you pull out the equity in it. So just something to keep in mind. So not only are you collecting checks, they call it mailbox money, meaning money is coming into your mailbox every single morning without you having to work for it. So you're getting cash flow. You're also getting your mortgage paid down by your tenants, assuming they pay on time. And let's say you have a Section 8 or something like that. So if you have government subsidized tenants, well, that's guaranteed money now, essentially. And they have to take good care of your property or they get kicked out. So can you imagine, just these two benefits alone should have you jumping out of your seat, calling a banker right now as we speak. If you need a banker, I have plenty of them on board. I have a few business partners that I just had the FHA webinar with. I'll be more than happy to provide you with their contact information. You can call them. They'll get you pre-approved right now. And ultimately, you can go out and find a 4-flat, live in one unit, have tenants pay your mortgage, and get some extra cash flow on top of that. Now, let's go to the third one, which is the tax benefits. And by the way, I did write an entire book on this whole topic. So if you need more insight, this will be recorded. It is on Facebook Live right now. And you can also check out the book, which I'll be distributing for free. I'll be distributing the PDF version or the ebook version for free. And then I'll also give out a select few people some free copies as well of the physical book. So let's talk about the tax benefits. So things haven't got, let's say you're still not motivated. You're not inspired to go out and buy your first piece of property or your second or your third. Let's talk about the taxes. This is where I come in. I love the topic of taxes. So let's talk about it. So this, of course, is my personal favorite benefit of owning real estate. As a real estate investor, if you're doing things right, you should never have to pay a dime. And I mean a dime in taxes, income taxes at least. You will pay property taxes. But if you're doing real estate the right way, you should never, ever, ever have to pay a dime in taxes. As crazy as it sounds, as a real estate investor, if you're paying taxes, it means, for one, you're very rich, or two, you're just not strategizing the right way. So when it comes to real estate with the property, you get to deduct basically everything. And I mean everything, all expenses associated with the property, including repairs and maintenance, insurance, property taxes, mortgage interest, which, by the way, your tenants are paying for. Your tenants are paying for it, but you get the benefit. Can you imagine what kind of world we live in? Your tenants are paying for your property taxes. They're paying for your interest, and guess who gets to deduct it? You do. So they don't get, as a renter, you don't get any tax benefits whatsoever unless you own a business, unfortunately. And that's why we all have to be owners. And now let's talk about depreciation. This is the magic D word, I call it. So depreciation it's magic, really. So you can depreciate your property even though in reality it is appreciating. So the real estate market, some experts have said that it appreciates about 6% on average every year. So, and I'll talk about this more later on, but if you own a $100,000 property and it appreciates 6%, that's a $6,000 return on investment on money that you might have not even had to put in. Imagine you have an FHA loan with 3.5%, all you had to put down, and you're making $6,000 in your first year. I mean, it's pretty much a no-brainer at this point. So depreciation is magic, meaning that, so it sounds strange, but essentially what you can do is you can depreciate or you can reduce. So when you buy the property, you can't just write it off as a purchase. So over time, you have to deduct it or you have to offset it against your gross income. So depreciation is a write-off where you on a residential property, you write off or you allocate over 27 and a half years the purchase price of the property, or they call it the basis of the property, subtracted by the land and all the different things like that on it. So ultimately, you take what you bought the property for, you divide it by 27 and a half, and that's your write-off. So depreciation is really depreciating or evaporating the property over time, although in reality it is appreciating. So that's the key there. And so this allows many people to declare losses on their tax returns. Over 90% of the clients or the real estate clients that I work with a lot of real estate investors. That's the bulk of my clientele. A lot of them are real estate. They're in real estate. I love real estate. I want to work with people in real estate. And so a lot of my clients, they declare losses on their tax returns because their property is quote unquote depreciating. So all the rental income that they're collecting, it's being offset by this magical D word called depreciation. Now, and so depreciation, what it does is it ultimately helps you reduce your taxable income or adjusted gross income. And then we can even take this to the next level. And I have some experts that do this too. We can take what's known as accelerated depreciation, known as cost segregation. So let's say you have a desk in a property and you can physically remove that desk. Well, some CPAs, unfortunately, they would include the desk as part of the purchase price of the property. When in reality, the desk can be depreciated much faster than that 27 and a half years. Pretty much a desk can depreciate over a much shorter period of time. And so things like appliances, the fence, different things that are around or, improve the property essentially, you can take accelerated depreciation. And guess what? In 2018, moving forward, as real estate investors, we can depreciate even faster thanks to the new tax bill. So the government isn't too bad after all. They've actually benefited real estate investors. So that's one thing you will always want to keep in mind, is that there's a lot of tax benefits available when you own a piece of property, because the government is encouraging you. They want you to buy property so that you can pay property taxes to the counties so that you can support the railroads and the pensions and all those different things like that. They want you to invest. And that's why we have to take advantage and become owners of real estate. And then also we have very fancy techniques. Won't talk about this too much, called 1031 exchanges or like-kind exchanges. When I say you should never pay taxes, income taxes on real estate, this is what I mean. It's called a 1031 exchange, where you essentially, anytime, let's say the property has appreciated by a lot, you're ready to sell it. Well, instead of just selling it outright, you go ahead and trade it in for a bigger property. And that way you avoid, or you essentially defer paying taxes into the future, and sometimes never. You can use very advanced strategies such as charitable remainder trusts, and there's very advanced techniques. You can utilize a self-directed IRA or individual retirement account, or even a health savings account to buy some real estate. And so you don't need this to be non-retirement money. You can buy real estate with your retirement money. So if your money, let's say you have $100,000 in your 401k and it's just sitting in some mutual fund that's earning 3% a year, well, you can go out and buy some real estate and maybe earn, let's say, 100% a year. And I'll break down in another segment. I'll break down how we get to this 100% number. But ultimately, you can very well earn 100% return on investment on real estate when you factor in all the little pieces, not just cash flow, but you're looking at appreciation, mortgage pay down by your tenants, all the different things like that. And so 1031 exchange is a process where you're trading smaller property for bigger property. Maybe you're graduating as a real estate investor. You want to buy commercial property and all those different types of things. And then of course you can use your IRA or HSA, individual retirement account or health savings account, and your IRA or HSA can own an LLC that invests in real estate. The benefit of doing this is you avoid a lot of taxes. A lot of the tax headaches, you will avoid them by investing through retirement accounts. And then, so there are hundreds, and I mean hundreds of tax benefits for real estate investors. And now let's go to the concept of leverage. So this is another beautiful thing. Well, as a matter of fact, let's go to appreciation. So you should never buy a property just because you think it's going to appreciate. We don't play the speculation game. That's not what wealth builders do, or that's not what true real estate investors do. We focus on cash flow. Remember, cash flow is king. But appreciation is important as well. So real estate is an asset class that has appreciated fairly consistently over time among all the different asset classes. So you can literally sit on your couch while watching your property appreciate. Appreciation should never be the main reason why you buy a property, but it is a pretty nice benefit. If I can sit on my couch while my property appreciates 6%, there's no way I should be mad at that. And this is tax free. So imagine, and we'll talk about this even matter of fact, let's go into that later on, but this might just blow your mind. But all of that appreciation goes back to you, even if you put no money into the property. So let's say you put down 1% on a property, or let's be a little more realistic. Let's say you put down, or let's keep the numbers even. Let's just keep it even for a second. You put down 10% on a property, on a $100,000 property. That's a $10,000 down payment. Your property appreciates 6%. That's a $6,000 rate of return. 6,000 divided by 10,000, that's 60%. That's a 60% return on investment in your first year alone. We're not even factoring cash flow. We're not factoring mortgage pay down by your tenants. So that's why I say real estate can very well be a 100% rate of return on investment if you do it right, if you utilize the right strategies. I like to put down as little money as possible because of these benefits. If my property can appreciate 6% on a $100,000 property and I get $6,000 from it, while the bank keeps zero of it, I keep all of it tax free. That's a really nice benefit. So appreciation is not the main focus, but it is certainly something pretty nice to have. And now let's talk about leverage. So leverage is the ability to buy plenty of properties with little to none of your own money involved. As you become a savvy real estate investor, you'll learn how to buy properties with no money down. I've done this before. I mean, I'm working on a rehab project right now where I haven't put a penny in. So just little things like that. And the reason why bankers or lenders will give you money freely for real estate, because their loan is secured. If you skip town and go to Ghana or Vegas, guess what? They just take the property right back. It might have appreciated by a lot. So just something to keep in mind is that they're not afraid. They will do their due diligence. They will analyze the property. They'll do all of that because their loan is secured by the property. And usually you do have to put down 20%, but as savvy real estate investors, we know how to get this 20%. We utilize lines of credit. We refinance from our other properties. We do 1031 exchanges. We use our self-directed IRAs or health savings accounts. So we have savvy strategies. So leverage is the ability to buy plenty of properties without much of your own money tied in. And so there's truly no limit. When you have all of these benefits, when you know how to buy real estate with little to none of your own money, if you know how to find good deals, you can own the whole world, basically. If you think about it, there's no limit to how many properties you can own. And remember the scenario that I shared earlier. Imagine 200 people paying you $500 a month, each and every month. Now imagine if your property is paid for. I mean, that's some serious cash flow right there. And last but not least, the sixth and final benefit, and this is very important, this really hits home, real estate will always be here. Real estate is not going to leave the planet, or there would be no planet. So real estate will always be here. It's a very stable investment. You're more than likely standing or sitting on real estate, and if you aren't, then you're probably some magical or ancient person. So you're probably sitting on real estate as you're listening to this presentation, and then this industry will be here forever and ever. And that's the biggest, I would say that's one of the biggest reasons why you need to own real estate. So thank you all for tuning in to WGHC 98.3 FM, your voice, your music, your station. I really hope you got something out of this presentation, the 6 reasons why you should own real estate. The book will be released tomorrow. If you need a copy, please email me at jeffbadu@gmail.com. I will send you a book, the ebook, for free. And I go into a little more depth on what I just talked about today. But thank you all for tuning in once again. We will be continuing the presentations next week and later down the road. And this is tax season, so please come and see me to get all your taxes done. I'll be more than happy to help. I do have 3 office locations now, one on the north side, one on the south side on 79th and Chatham, and also one in South Loop. So thank you all for tuning in once again. My name is Jeff Badu, and I look forward to continuously delivering you all some content. Thank you.
Do you have dreams for yourself outside of a 9 to 5? Do you feel frustrated?